This is Arvin Vohra, founder of Vohra Method and co-author of the book, Invitation to the Ivies. And in this video, I'm going to show you what a perfect scoring approach looks like when you're doing an SAT math problem. If you're serious about getting a perfect score on the SAT, this is going to show you what the level of solution that's expected for that is. So let's start out with this question. This is a real SAT question. It says, if a squared minus b squared equals 10 and a plus b equals 2, what is a minus b? And if you take a look at this and you just kind of try it on your own, you might have done something like this. You might have solved this second equation here and written that b equals 2 minus a. You might have then substituted that into the other equation and said a squared minus 2 minus a squared equals 10. And you can simplify that out and you can solve for a, and then you can plug it back into the other equation and solve for b. And there's nothing wrong with that equation, that approach, except for doing it this way is slow and inefficient, and it's honestly just a very error-prone way to do it as well. To think about what makes an approach more likely to have an error in it, it's just how many steps it takes. If you're doing a problem in 500 steps, you have a higher chance of making a mistake than if you do it in 2 steps. So I'm going to show you the way to look at a problem like this if you're serious about getting a perfect SAT score. So first, we want to look and see what's going on with this problem. Notice this. Here's the big clue. It's asking for a minus b. It's not asking for a or just b. It's asking for a minus b, and that's going to be a bit of a hint for us. The other thing we can look at, we're going to look at all the different pieces here. And we see these 3 things. We have a squared minus b squared. I see an a plus b. And I see an a minus b. And I'm saying, what do those 3 things, how do they relate to each other? And after a bit of thinking, I realize that if you factor a squared minus b squared, that's just a plus b times a minus b. So I'm going to write this over here. I'm going to write a plus b times a minus b equals 10. And now, this is looking pretty nice. I see that a plus b is here. I'm going to replace the a plus b with a 2, because a plus b equals 2, as it says in the question. I'm just going to write 2 times a minus b equals 10. Now, it's super easy. At this point, we just divide both sides by 2, and I get that a minus b equals 5. And there's the whole problem. That's the entire solution to that problem. Now, notice a few things. First, we use factoring here, and if you're not already comfortable with factoring, you need to get comfortable with factoring. Factoring is the most important skill in algebra, but there's nothing that comes close. And the other thing is you need to look at each problem as if a lot of time and thought has been put into it, because in fact, every SAT problem has had a lot of time and thought put into it. When you're at school, if you're a teacher, you're teaching a class and you're giving a test every day, every week, or a quiz every day, you might not put that much thought into a question. So a lot of the quizzes and tests you have at school, they're just kind of put together sort of however. And if your teacher asks you what's a minus b, it might literally just be you first find a and then find b, because the question is kind of it hasn't had that much thought put into it. But every SAT question has a lot of thought put into it. There's no kind of we just did this just to do it. There's always a reason for every single part of it. A way to think about this is an SAT problem is going to be kind of like a mystery, and you need to put those clues together to figure out what's happening for this problem. Now, if you want to learn more about how to use a perfect scoring method to solve math problems, if you really want to get a perfect score on the SAT math or on the entire SAT, we can help you with that here at Vohra Method. We focus on helping ambitious students get 1,500 plus scores and help ambitious students get perfect SAT scores, as well as perfect ACT scores and PSAT scores and all that kind of stuff. If you want to learn more about that, just check us out at vohramethod.com.